good news, Steve, for people who actually want to get anywhere in Wales as well.
Fantastic news. Joy in Wales as 20-mile-an-hour blanket speed limit is scrapped after £32 million spent on it. A year of anger. Welsh Government's biggest ever petition was signed by, now this, forget the number of people who signed it, signed by the family of the minister who championed the policy. That is shocking until you realise it's quite easy to get your wife, in-laws and teenage kids to hate you.
Yeah.
So actually, that's not that much of a flip.
Well, especially if they're having to drive at 20 miles per hour. I mean, certain laws, you know, have a sort of nebulous distant effect, don't they? But
yeah, you feel that one. Well, I think you feel that because our roads aren't built for it and our cars aren't built for it. And there's the rule is something like 10% tolerance, which is 2 miles an hour tolerance if you're going through a speed limit. Yeah. If you're going at 70, you can get up to 77 accidentally, and that's fine.
No, it's
but
terrifying.
You just got to watch the
I drive home, not home, but to where I stay in London after midnight, obviously after this show, empty roads, you know, what's it called? The Fulham Palace Road is one. And it's just ridiculous. You feel like you're stalking. So there's somebody walking down the road. And you feel like you're kind of about to jump out.
It is too slow.
You get arrested for curb
crawling.
crawling.
That's right. It's like there's a real sweet spot between that and curb crawling.
There's a speed camera.
The David Pleat effect.
There's a speed camera near to where I live because there's a school there. It's a 20-mile-an-hour zone. It's the bottom of a hill. So whenever I go cycling, I enjoy setting that thing off at 22 miles an hour.
I bet.
Whereas cars would, in theory,
and then slamming into a child crossing the road.
Oh, wait, I'm a cyclist. There's no car.
I wouldn't mind at all if they had timing cameras that operated during school hours. I mean, I think that would be reasonable. But these Welsh ones were even on the country roads as well, right?
It's an absolute and that's a nightmare. It's especially a nightmare in my Lambo. It's just not meant to go that slow. But yeah, everyone hates this. Even the taxi drivers. Our law isn't as extensive as Wales, but every taxi driver I speak to hates the law here. Yeah. It's not workable. The only thing I might be open to is a complete removal of cars. Because I was reading Peter Hitchens' book, The Cameron Delusion, and he has this very poetic passage on why we should never have brought in the motor car. And I started thinking, you know what? He's absolutely right. Yeah. But I can't go for this safetyism thing or this climate emissions thing, which is the reason they cite. But I can go for sort of total reversal going back in time.
I remember seeing like traffic plans for removing cars entirely from they've sort of done it around Trafalgar Square, for instance. You know, it would be possible. But it very rarely works. It really becomes that kind of Barcelona vibe, does it, in London? You know, when you get rid of cars, instead what you just get is a load of vagrants.
And pigeons.
Milling about.
But we've got some of the safest roads in Europe. We've got some of the best tech in our cars these days. You would imagine cars would get quicker. Yeah. They're not. There was no episode of Tomorrow's World where they did like 4 miles an hour. No. Why are we going this way?
Well, it's entirely hostility, isn't it? They're making it a hostile environment.